Hello.
Bienvenue. Welcome.
This is WTF Stories and Advice. And...
Oh, I thought this was just a sound test.
Oh. We're professional. So I am Caroline Cranshaw, hypnotherapist and professional shit talker. And today we have the... That's your cue to come in, Daryl. Come on.
I was waiting for some kind descriptive words, but I'll do them myself. The wonderful, marvelous, very, very handsome Daryl Gove.
Yes, my pronouns are gorgeous and sexy, just so you know. So today we are going to talk about conflict. We're going to talk about conflict in relationships, conflict in life, and how to deal with it.
But not conflict in the Middle East, not that kind of stuff.
No, we're not going to be talking about the conflict in Ukraine.
No politics.
Even though... No politics, even though I really like talking about politics personally, but nobody wants to hear about that from us right now.
Just checking, Ukraine's in Europe, right?
Yes, I...
Okay.
What did you think? Where did you think I thought it was?
I just when I said conflict in the Middle East and then went to Ukraine, I didn't know if we're taking off items in a list or because you never know, because people don't know sometimes. So
I did take geography at school, and I am not the typical American. Sorry, shouldn't say that. Take that out. Cut. Yes, I am aware of where the Ukraine is. Thank you very much.
I assumed you were. It was more for the listeners.
It's in the Middle East. Yeah. So
bedroom conflict.
Okay. So I thought we would open with a listener letter. Ooh. And I thought this was a good topic that they're asking about because it is actually something... Fucking stop it. What the hell is that face? Daryl's making faces at me. Don't do it. You're lucky I'm not there. I'd grab your lip right now. Wash your mouth out with soap, like my grandmother did with me. It really, really worked to help my swearing, obviously.
Really? She did that?
Oh, yeah. And she'd be like, do you like that? And I'd be like, yes, I want more.
Just the threat would be enough.
Oh, she would do it with Dove soap. I still cannot use Dove soap to this day. Because, anyways, it obviously, don't do that to your kids because it doesn't work. I grew up to be one of the most profane talking people I know. So obviously it doesn't work. So this is just a topic I have come across throughout my career as a therapist, and especially in the past couple of weeks. A few people have brought up having this same conflict in their relationship. So I thought this was a perfect one to pick. All right, you ready?
Yes, I'm interested.
Okay. Dear Caroline and Daryl, I'm not sure if this is the type of problem you want on your podcast, but here goes. I am a gay man, and since I hit 30, I've put on a bit of weight. And that's it. No, I'm just kidding. Join the club, sweetheart. My husband has taken to commenting on it. He makes comments on what I eat, what I wear, says things like, are you going to eat that? He is serving me much smaller portions than him, and I'm starting to get pissed off. I have started eating in secret and binging and becoming very resistant to going to the gym. My husband also happens to be a personal trainer, so is in always perfect shape. What should I do? Should I just suck it up and lose the weight? Or is the problem my husband's a big douche?
Well, straight away, the solution's obvious. He needs to go to the gym where his husband works, get a better looking trainer, and schedule appointments with them and flirt the whole time.
Oh, that's a good idea. I like that. I used to go to this gym in San Francisco. And I lived in a very gay area called Polk Street. I don't know if it still is. And I was a hairdresser with 12 gay men and me. And we used to call it the gay dating hour at the gym. And we were just completely ignored. My friend and I used to go. No one even, it was great because no one looked at you. No one made any comments, but they all were after each other. It was hilarious. I think I know for myself, and I have had partners who were very funny about weight or made
Hmm.
comments on my weight. And I had the same exact response. I would eat in secret. I would binge eat. I'd be like, I'll show you fucking fat in secret. And it
Yeah.
never made me lose weight. It only made me gain it because I think it just triggered me into not feeling good enough, and rebellion. Like, I think it's that reverse psychology.
Yeah, I think it's the same, and I'm going to get a lot of resistance from non-smokers in this, which I am a non-smoker. It's similar with smoking. When your partner goes on and nags and nags and nags and don't do that, and you shouldn't be doing that, what happens is people just take it underground. They start smoking in secret and hiding it and rebelling. If the partner tells you what to do, and like they're your dad, of course you're going to rebel. But even still, it doesn't even sound like you're really rebelling. It sounds like you're just trying to just be normal, but you can't be that in front of your partner, and that's an issue.
That's the thing, like reverse psychology. I'll get a lot of clients that they want their partner to quit smoking or have some type of addictive behavior. And they're like, I'm always telling them they need to come to you and I'm always telling them to quit and that they need to stop. And I'm like, no, 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 no. What you need to do is
Hmm.
tell them to smoke all the time. You look
Yeah.
like you need a cigarette. You should have a cigarette. Have you had one yet? Here. And like hand it to them. And they'll be like, I don't want one. And it's that reverse psychology, encouraging people to eat in that situation. I don't know. I think personally, what I would do is, while he was sleeping, I would tape his lips shut. No, not tape them, glue them with some super glue. And then see how well he can talk about your weight. It won't be very hard for him for a little while. No.
Obviously, that's a joke. We don't want
Okay,
you
yeah. No. Yeah, don't listen to me.
dying.
I'm only a trained therapist.
Well, look,
Okay.
I think the first problem here is that he was allowed to say anything like that more than once.
Mm.
Like there's a distinct lack of boundaries there. In a relationship I was in, I remember one time, and look, I actually have never been what I would call fat, but I do fluctuate in my weight and I tend to get a little bit of a belly. But I had that when I was a kid, when I was a skinny rake. I always had this little, what we call in New Zealand, a puku. It's a little sticky out belly. Always had that because I'm short. And anyway, so I remember one day he just put his hand and goes, it's like you're pregnant. And I was offended and I just turned around.
Is this person still alive?
Yeah. And I just said, look, I will never accept anybody saying anything like that to me. That's offensive. It's not funny. I know you intended it as a joke. That's not how it was received. You will never comment on my body again. And it never happened again. It never happened again. If it had, then I would have been done. I would have been done. It was near the beginning. So it's easier said than done sometimes, but I think we need to have firm boundaries. I mean, I do not have a big belly. Like it's really not too big. But that's the whole point.
You don't have a belly at all.
But the thing is, people that are jealous want to tear other people down. They'll make comments about you for some reason. Probably your partner's jealous of you. Probably they hold you in esteem, and so they're trying to tear you down. And if you're already slim enough, and even if you're not, who gives a fuck? Why are you letting them say anything about your physical weight? Who cares if they're a personal trainer? It's just not okay. So finding a way to create boundaries there.
I think, yeah, people do. They think they can comment on people's bodies, and it's mind boggling to me. When I was a teenager and going on the pill and I gained weight, and my family was like, oh, we'll send you to Jenny Craig and we'll do this. And oh, if you just lost 10 pounds. And it always just made me binge more. It never, ever helped. And I think that when you don't feel good about yourself, you try to do things to make yourself feel better. And if food has been something that you have used to make yourself feel better, which is like a majority of the population, then of course you're going to do that. But I think people think your partner, for some people, they think their partner is an extension of themselves, right? And they have a standard for themselves and how they want to be in their body, and they expect you to be this reflection of them as well. And it's like, you're not that person, and you're an individual, and you have a right to have your body look how the fuck you want it to look. And if you want to be as big as a motherfucking house, you can be. You may not be in a relationship with that person anymore, but hey.
But they can go and fuck off and annoy somebody else. The other thing is as well, there's 2 points there. I don't think it sounds in any way like they're trying to help their partner. It just sounds like they're trying to help themselves by have their partner be what they want. And the other thing is that you mentioned that people will eat because they feel bad, but also they'll do it to punish themselves. I'm not good enough. I'm too big. And they're sad and they've got these emotions of anger and shame. And we're taught anger and shame are these ugly emotions that shouldn't be expressed. So we push them down. And so we automatically go to the fridge, we open something up, our body tells us we're hungry, and we eat and we eat and we eat and we eat in secret. But hey, also when we're hungry because we're not getting enough calories because our partner doesn't let us eat, then also we eat for that reason too. Where is your partner? Would you like us to go around to his house and
I'll bring a baseball bat.
I can poo in his letterbox, which is also yours. So,
Well, I don't know about that. Or you could just like start making him a smoothie every morning and putting like these super weight gainers in it. Maybe some birth control pills, grind those up. Do like, what was that movie, The Other Woman, where the guy, she put like hormones and the guy started growing these huge nipples. No, I mean,
Caroline, no,
all joking aside.
we don't trust people with pharmaceuticals. We could kill them.
No. Okay. That is all jokes. That is not a recommendation, but these are the thoughts that come in your head, and it's good to vent them and have a laugh. I personally use humor as a deflection, but I think like what Daryl said is having boundaries and just saying, "Hey, my body is my body and I can eat what I want, and if I want to lose weight, I will, but you making comments on my weight and how much I eat actually has the opposite effect. It makes me want to eat more. It makes me want to gain weight. So you can keep doing that. I'm not going to tolerate it, but it's actually going to have the opposite effect." And as a personal trainer who motivates people to lose weight, shouldn't they know this?
Yeah, I possibly, although there's a variety of different courses that people take to be qualified to be a personal trainer, and often they can be very short. But even still, there's also personality issues. You know, you can have somebody that has all the knowledge and all the training, but doesn't give a fuck. Have you heard of there's like a structure for bringing up issues of conflict where it's a specific order to like 4 questions that you ask, and it's a way to kind of keep your mind clear if you're full of emotion. And it starts with I learned this when I worked for a flight center as a travel agent. We did something called, I think it was called gold management or something like that. So we were learning how to manage the staff better. And I got this structure, but I've since seen it all over the place and it applies really well in relationships. So the first sentence that you say is and you fill in the blanks with the behavior. So
All right, cunt.
when you, her cunt, no, that's when you comment on my weight, and then the next sentence says, I feel. So it goes, I feel. When you comment on my weight, I feel bad about myself and I feel angry with you because, and then you say the reason, because I already have low self-esteem and you making negative comments makes me feel even worse.
I teach that to couples all the
To
time.
couples
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
It's a great one because it sounds because you've been letting this happen at all, and I'm not saying it's your fault, but what I'm saying is perhaps you don't have a structure to create this conversation and boundaries without getting into a fight. So this helps to avoid that argument. I feel because. Then the next one is you say what you would like. I'd like you to refrain from coming on my weight. And if you like, you can say because it's none of your fucking business or whatever you want to say.
I'm going to glue your dick to your balls.
And then the last question you ask is, what do you think? And then you shut up and you be quiet. And you be quiet. And it doesn't matter if you wait 30 seconds, a minute, you be quiet and you wait for them to talk. What do you think? When you tell me that I should eat less because I'm too fat, I feel like shit. Because I know that you're working out with buff guys every day and that you value this muscly body that you got and your clients might have. I feel second class and I'd like you to stop it because I want to feel good about my body in my shape because it's all up to me. What do you think?
Okay, I'm going to role play with you, okay? So
Okay.
that's what you've just said to me, and now I'm the asshole personal trainer. Well, if you really loved me, you would keep your body in amazing shape because you know that's what I like, and if you respected yourself, that's what you would do.
Sounds like someone's got a case of the sposters.
The
Supposed to be skinny, supposed to be muscly, supposed to please your partner. I would probably deflect with humor as well, actually.
I think humor is a good diffuser. I think,
Mhm.
yeah, that's one I'll use a lot. That's when my family does it. What I advise when I get clients that are having partners, let's say, be controlling or tell, you need to do this or you need to do that. What I'll advise them, and this is something I've used with a few partners, when they try to tell me to do something, I go, yes, master, please don't beat me. You know,
Yeah, I
that's
used to do the same. Sir, yes, sir. I would go.
probably not very PC, but I think instead of being like, fuck you, don't tell me what to do, you can use humor to highlight it. You can also just say, I'm a grown up and I get to do what I want now. And if you're not happy with that, you can go fuck yourself.
Or
Maybe not that.
another thing, what I might say, I'd probably pause and give it a bit of thought. And so to respond to you I'd go, it's a really interesting point of view. Tell me more about that. That's really interesting. Tell me more. And where does that belief come from? You're telling me that if I loved you, I'd do that. Where does that come from? Tell me more. I'm interested. Tell me more. I don't obviously think the same as you, and I'm trying to understand how you think because I love you. Tell me more about that. Tell me more about that.
Good.
No, I'm just not getting it. No, I'm just not getting. I'm just not getting how that means I love you or I have to do that. Can you explain that to me? And and just see what happens. It's a difficult one, and I think you want someone on your team. If you don't have a best friend that you can confide in and really share this with and come up with a plan, then I think you should get a counselor or a therapist, someone that can have your corner, because this isn't a one conversation issue. This is something that if you want to save your relationship, then you have to be able to create those boundaries without alienating your partner, which, I mean, I would want to alienate them and have them fuck off. But if that's not what you want and you want them to, and you want to rebuild things, then it's going to be a delicate operation to remove that cuntiness from your relationship. And so I think you need someone to help guide you with that, and to be there for you to help craft those conversations. And when they don't go as planned, because they never do, to come back and go, right, what's the next step? What do I do next? And really just hold space for you until you decide eventually perhaps to either leave him or that he's treating you with enough respect that you're willing to stay.
That's very good advice. I think always try to seek some therapy, get some help, get someone who's a neutral party that can mediate and help you both see each other's side. But I think that just, oh, tell me more about that. I'm trying to understand. That's really good. I think another thing, if someone's a bit nasty, you can just go, wow, are you having a bad day? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Or that's hurtful and not very nice.
Yeah. Just naming it. Just that's
Yeah.
hurtful and not very kind, not very nice.
It's not okay to talk to me like that. Don't fucking do it again. No, maybe, yeah, sorry. I don't have suppressed rage at all.
But it makes me angry when I hear this stuff because it's unnecessary and it's unkind. And I know it does with you as well. You hate bullying, you hate people being picked on. It's part of your raison d'etre to defend the bullied and to attack the bullies.
Yeah. And it's, just having these little things of, wait a minute, there must be something wrong with my ears. Did you actually just say blank, blank, blank? Or can you repeat that again? I'm sorry, I don't think I heard you correctly.
Do it again?
Or, huh? What?
Asking them to
What?
repeat it is a great one, isn't it? So somebody says something like, hey, are you going to eat that? You're putting on a bit of weight. Oh, sorry, can you say that again? And then look right at them and make them know what they're saying. It's you that taught me that one, Caroline, just to make the repeat it over and
Or
over.
hold up. Wait, hang on. Let me just get my camera. Can you say that again? I just want to put this on TikTok on assholes that I've dated, that I broke up with. I'm going to do a montage.
Everything's better with a montage.
I don't know. This has probably triggered me because I've had partners do this. And when people tell me that they have a partner that says this to them in clinic, I'm like, wow, are they still alive? Or just the mirroring technique. It's a therapy technique. Or Chris Voss from Never Split the Difference. Amazing book. You should read it. Talks about that, where you shouldn't eat that. Shouldn't eat that. And you just keep repeating these few little words back. And it's this beautiful
Repeating the words back?
Yeah. And it strings people's fuck it, even when I know people are doing it to me, I'm like, yeah, because I like to talk, obviously. And it just strings people's thoughts together. But also, if they're being a bit of a dick, it is this amazing way of backing people up against the wall really slowly. And I think the thing is to stay really calm, Because if you get triggered, you start, you lose control. And if someone's wanting to manipulate like that, you need to Jedi
Mhm.
mind fuck that motherfucker so that they never do it again, basically.
I like that. I wish I knew you in the past.
I teach people how to Jedi mind fuck people. That's one of my jobs. I know. I say this to clients and they're like, oh, yes, yes, please.
Oh, we should let the people know about your Jedi mindfucking course
Oh,
that you're going to
yes.
be teaching online. We'll put a link in the comments and in the description. Look for Jedi mindfucking. It's quite fun. But yeah, for me, it was less ex-partners because I just kept my weight really slim. I always stayed really, really skinny if I could. But it was my extended family. So my immediate family never ever said anything except compliments. They were always nice. It was always like, mom's still like, oh, you look very handsome. Or oh, she was always like, oh, you look like you've lost a bit of weight, like in a kind way. But it was the extended family go, you're getting awful fat round the face. Or, oh, pointing to my belly, oh, you've put on a bit of weight. Or you're getting bigger. And or you're looking healthy now. You're looking a much healthier weight. You've put on quite a bit. And just always, even a compliment would be underhanded. And this goes on to this day. Like to this moment, it will still happen. I can barely have a conversation with some extended relatives without a comment on my weight, which if it's negative, I don't accept it anymore. I let them know that it's not appropriate. But it's just, I also wonder if it's partly cultural. If is this something, is it just people from UK? Is that something that they do? I know they comment on the weather nonstop. I know that they talk about other people all the time. Is it something that they do is talk about your weight to each other? I don't know. I don't remember because I haven't lived there for 22 years. And I was, a skinny teenager when I left. So it's something that I perhaps wasn't exposed to. Although even then it was always, and I think me and you, we've done a session on this, a demo for our class where you were helping me with body image issues. Is growing up, even then it was skinny malinky long legs. You got lucky legs, lucky they don't break. And comment, 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 comment. And I don't think it's just about me. I just think it's perhaps a bit about the people. And they're great people, but there's
Are
something.
they?
Yeah. They. I mean, not the people that all the people that are commenting these days. Some of them I don't like so much, but growing up, these were kind, lovely people. But it was just acceptable. It was just something that people did, and I wonder if that it could be my village, could be my town, could be my
I think it's
community.
around the world. I get clients from every culture that talk about how people do this. And it's very,
Really?
yeah, especially Asian cultures. A lot of Indian clients, they'll say that they're, it makes me angry. I think it's just learning to have boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
like you said before. A really good book on boundaries is Boundaries: When to Say Yes, How to Say No, to Take Control of Your Life by Henry Cloud and John Townsend. That's a great book on how to deal with people who don't treat you with respect.
Ooh, is it on audio?
I'm sure it is. It's such a well known book.
There's another book. I can't remember off the top of my head the name of the author, but it's called A Woman's Guide to Claiming Space. And it's
Mm.
amazing. The woman, she's on TikTok and does videos. What she does is she'll give you, and I think I've spoken, Caroline, with you about her before. She'll give you a really specific piece of advice for a very specific situation. So if you say, this is what's happening, and then she will give you the exact words to use to counter it in a gentle, kind, but firm way. So it's a really good way.
Mm.
Women's Guide to Claiming Space. We'll get the author and we'll put it in the thingy.
That's good advice. And I think if you struggle to stand up for yourself, a good technique is just to imagine you're someone else. I mean, you think about how many
Mm.
people have alter egos, how many famous people like
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, Eminem, right? Slim Shady, like Beyonce and Sasha Fierce, or Superman and Clark Kent, or there's all these people that they make their living being a alter ego. That's something they've created to be this
Putin and Meghan
star.
Markle.
Putin and Meghan Markle. What?
Yeah, I think they're the same person. I mean, think about it. Have you ever seen them together?
Okay. I don't know.
No,
I
sorry,
don't
carry on.
mind. Oh, poor Megan. I feel bad for her. I don't know her personally, so I comment on everybody else, but she was bullied terribly in the UK, though. I do feel bad for that.
So she says. So she
Oh,
says.
oh you're so. Uh-huh. I don't know. They don't seem to have that much sympathy, do they? But I mean, it's all the press. But I think you can make up your own alter ego or think of somebody you know who's really good at dealing with conflict. And if something like that comes up for you, just imagine that they're them. What would they say in that situation? Pretend they're them, or pretend it's that this person had said it to somebody else, somebody you care about. Because I find a lot of people have no problem, and I know this was true for myself, is if I heard someone saying something terrible to someone else, I would just about rip their thyroid out. But when it came to myself, it was like, oh, I'll just be nice and not really stand up for myself. But it was really easy for me to do it for other people. So I think if you struggle for yourself, but not for other people, imagine if they've said it to like the person you care about most in the world. Unless it's that person who's telling you that.
Yeah.
That gets a little bit confusing.
No, it's so powerful though. Like imagine, and it's as simple as this. If somebody that you really love, a sibling, a parent, a friend, somebody, if you knew that their partner was saying that to them, what advice would you give them? What would you tell them to do? It is as easy as that. And then thinking of somebody that's confident and wouldn't put up with that, but would manage it beautifully, how would they do it? And we take our students and our clients through this technique called tapping in or stepping in, where we have them not just think, okay, what would that be like? But we have them experience being that other person in their mind so that they really get to learn how it feels to be confident, how it feels to say something differently and act for example, in this circumstance, you would pick somebody with boundaries, pick somebody with strong, clear boundaries around partner commenting to them on weight. And they would learn everything there is to learn from them unconsciously.
That's a great technique. And that's something we both take people through all the time is just imagine, stop it. And I can hear the noise through the microphone. Don't be gross. Daryl's making licking faces through the camera. Daryl's being mean to me. Daryl, I do not like that behavior. That behavior is not okay. Actually, I find that behavior hilarious, so I actually don't mind. But if I didn't like it, I'd be like, I'm not okay with that. Or, here, let me just take a video and put that on TikTok. This is your therapist, people. No.
I said to my partner last night, he came home with a toasting machine. And I was like, I'm not happy with you. He's like, why? He says, I'm not allowed to buy any new appliances because we've got the tiniest kitchen that you have ever seen. It's like a caravan kitchen. It's so small. And here you are with an appliance. He says, I know. I'm really upset with myself. I'm really angry.
That's good. He's learning from you.
It's like I broke my own rules and I bought a cheap one. I could have bought the $80 one, but I didn't. I bought the $10 one. And so I know it's not good. And so I'm not happy, but I wanted toasties. I want cheese and ham toasties.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm really upset with you. I know, you're right. I'm upset with me too. Bad me. Yeah.
Then it was done. And I was using my happy face when I said I'm upset with you because I wasn't upset. Actually, don't tell him this, but I was really happy because that gives me permission to buy an appliance.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know when I need
funny.
it.
That's hilarious. I think the thing is I find a lot of people are like, I hate conflict and I don't want conflict. But conflict doesn't need to be aggressive. And resolving conflict is part of life. And you can do it in a way where you feel really empowered. My advice is always keep your tone very calm. Use almost like a soothing voice, right? Communication is the biggest percentage is tone of voice. And then it's body language. And then it's actually what you say.
Mm-hmm.
So what you say is like the least important part, but the tone of voice you use and your body language. So I would have really just confident body language. I would use the late night radio DJ voice. And it's like, I don't appreciate that. I will not tolerate you talking to me like that. Please don't do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to find out what I'll fucking do to you if you ever do that again.
But if you don't want the conflict to escalate, stick to the late night radio DJ voice.
Yes, because whatever tone of voice you start is the tone it's going to start. So if you go, that's how it's going to finish.
And that's a really important point that you just brought up there, which is that however the conflict or conversation starts is how it will end. It's predictable. If you go in, meh, it will. And we're not just saying that. Like this has been researched and studied and shown to be the case in almost all cases. If you start gently, kindly, with kind words, bringing up a complicated issue, slowly, soft voice, conciliatory tone, probably even if you don't fix the problem there and then, that's how it's going to end, using those same tones. If you come in aggressive, you come in loud, or even if you come in upset, and I'm really upset with you, rah, 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 it just, that's how the conversation is going to end, with you guys upset with each other and going the other way. So think about that before you get started, before you decide what you're doing. You've got your team behind you. Maybe it's a therapist, maybe it's a best friend. I always like to have a girlfriend to talk to this kind of stuff about. I don't go to the other gays because they'll just say, "You're too good for him, just leave him and be with me instead." So talk to your girlfriends and and prepare for this conversation if you're nervous.
And I think it's when you have a quiet, empowered, good body language, it actually freaks people out. What I found is because I would just get upset and scream and yell, and I would lose all my
Mm-hmm.
power. And they'd be like, "You're crazy. You're emotional. You're this." And I'd be like, "Ah." And when I learned to be calm and keep my voice in this very, almost I'd get quieter, and it would scare the shit out of people, and they would lose it. They would be the ones losing it. And I felt so empowered by that. So just know it doesn't need to be aggressive. The more you stay calm, the more in control, the more empowered you're going to be, and the more it'll scare people. Not that you want to scare them, but I think it's also acknowledging how they feel. Well, I understand that you feel like that. However, that hurts me when you do this, or I don't like it, or I don't appreciate it, or I'm going to stab you in your sleep.
And you want them to take you seriously. And if you act like a crazy person, then they get to keep the moral high ground and go, "Well, you're just being crazy, so what you say is not valid." Whereas where you're being rational and slow and saying it, it changes their range of responses that they can give you.
Exactly. You teach people how to treat you.
Mm-hmm.
And people do what they know they can get away with. Like you'll see some people treat some people horribly and then are sweet as pie to others. And it's because they know they can't get away with that behavior with other people. So if someone is being abusive
Yeah.
to you or making rude comments, it's because they know that they can. So let them know that they can't.
I have a question for you. Did you notice he was like that to other people when you met him? Was he like that about his exes? Was he like that to his friends? I should have seen it as a red flag, but I didn't. I was in a relationship where I met this guy who was really popular and we started dating, and he was really quite mean to his friends. And they followed him around like they worshipped him. He had this little posse of friends that just loved him and could do no wrong. And I would reprimand him and say, "Don't speak to people like that." But he was always lovely to me until the end. And of course, it only took time before he turned around that attitude on me as well and lost respect for me. But I spoke to one of his friends towards the end and said, "But how was it acceptable for him to speak like that?" "Oh, well, it's just who he is. It's, somebody else couldn't say that, but he gets to, because he was good looking and confident and all that kind of thing." And it's really, looking back, I would have done things completely differently. But here's a thought. Was there a red flag there for you? Does he speak to other people like that? Did you notice that? If so, I don't want to say this isn't solvable, but there's a bigger problem than just how he treats you. This is how he treats people. This is who he is being rather than who he is. Watch out. And do you know what? This is what happens in these situations is somebody that's fucking lovely is going to come along into your life and they're going to start treating you really well. They're going to say nice things to you. They're going to make you feel good. It might be a girl, might be a guy, straight, gay, but someone's going to come along and they're going to treat you how you deserve to be treated. And you're going to start to feel different about yourself. And when that happens, he's got to watch out. He is the one that's on notice.
Do you believe that you deserve to be treated that way?
We
Because
don't.
normally, no, we don't believe that, but I know for myself that when I allowed people to be rude or abusive or make nasty comments, it was because part of it was because I believed that they were right. I believed these
Mm.
negative things about myself. And that's why I would accept that. And I would just feel bad about myself. And I wouldn't really stand up. So I think you've got to build yourself up and really work on your confidence and know that you deserve to be treated with respect. And you don't have to be perfect in order to get that. Like, I think people make love conditional, and it's like your body has to be a certain way, or, and our bodies change through our lives. There's going to be times when you gain weight. There's going to be times when you lose weight. There's going to be times when your hair falls out or whatever happens. And you want to be with someone who's going to support you no matter what, because that's not who you are. How you look is not who you are.
And instead of being with someone because they look good, you want to be someone that can cook. Because looks fade, but cooking's going to be there for life.
That's right.
So we hope that helped. Please write into us if you guys have got any relationship or sex issues or any problem at all. We love giving our tuppence worth.
We are just full of advice.
Full of it. We could literally go for hours and give you more and more and more and more advice and ideas. So like honestly, we better stop ourselves. We hope that helped. So today in this podcast, have we got time to do book recommendations?
Yeah.
Good. Have you got one?
I already gave one. Boundaries. You give a book recommendation as your idea. I'll tell you one in a second.
Okay. Women's Guide to Claiming Space is Eliza VanCort. I actually think that I've mentioned it on this podcast before, but it's so good that I will give it again. Just don't let your narcissistic partner read it because it'll give them all the tips as well. So just keep it away from them. The other book that I want to recommend, and I'm really excited to recommend it, is called The Forever Dog. Have you heard of this?
No.
So it's by Rodney Habib and Dr. Karen Becker. And what it is, it's a couple of dog owners that love their dogs, and they wanted to know how to keep their dog healthy. And they realized that there wasn't a lot of resources available. So they set out to look at the research about what was available and to what allows for dog longevity. Because if you've ever lost your family pet, sad, and if you've lost them premature due to cancer or something, then it's devastating. So having this new baby dog who's 1 year old now and who I'm completely in love with, I was like, well, I don't trust the vets because that's just my nature to not trust authority. I'm going to do my own research. And I'm so glad that I did, because did you know that Colgate is responsible for your dog's food? This might sound crazy. So Colgate found out that if they got dentists to hold up their toothpaste and say, dentists recommend Colgate, the number one toothpaste for dentists, that all of a sudden their sales just exploded and it became like the number one toothpaste. So they replicated that with dog food. They just got vets to say, hey, this is a good, healthy food brand. And then they started funding the vet schools to the point, do you know what's in your dog food? It's like,
I get natural dog food, so
even stuff, and you have to be careful because even stuff that claims to be natural, if it's processed at all, because there's no rules around it, sometimes they go around the old chip shops, they get the old used oil, and that's the fat content of your dog biscuits. They've got diseases in there, microbes, molds, heavy metals, toxins that don't have to be measured. It's basically, even the things that claim to be natural and healthy are complete junk. And vet schools are funded by these companies and taught, as long as you have this many vitamins and this much protein, then that's a balanced diet for your dog. That diet was written in 1976 and has only been reviewed once. So anyway, this whole book is deconstructing dog health based on genetic, based on breeding, based on diet, based on movement, and just re-explaining it in a really simple way. But the best reason to read this is because everything that applies to your dog applies to you.
Yep.
Is it really healthy to live off of processed food, muesli bars, McDonald's, that kind of thing? Is that going to give you your longest healthy life? With dogs, what we can do is we can do studies of a lifetime in 10, 20 years. With humans, it takes so much longer. So we can really see the effects of changes in environment and genetics, and then changes in genetic expression, changes in exercise. The number one thing for a long living dog is how much time you spend walking it. And
Mm.
you can imagine that that has a similar effect on the owner. The next thing is, are they in the countryside? Are they getting their face into bacteria and soil and all the shit that you find in the countryside? That's going to make a long living dog. But I won't give you all the details. What I'll say is I'm only 3 hours into like a 15-hour book or something on audio, but it's full saturated with nuggets. And as someone that studied natural health for decades, literally, I'm learning shit about my immune system, about aging, about how cancers start, all from this perspective of a dog, because everything they say, you can take it and I can take it and go, oh, that makes sense for me. So yeah, our dogs are fed not that shit, but they're getting nice raw food. And if I was going to give any investment advice, which I'm not because I'm not qualified, it would be go and fucking invest in raw dog food or healthy dog food companies, because they are going to explode. Just like
Or
the breast.
XRP.
or XRP.
Or XRP crypto. That's my advice that I hear from some of my clients that are some of the wealthiest people in the world. I have one more book recommendation. That's very, very good advice, because it's like you're listening about your pet and it's what we give to ourselves. That actually reminds me, one quick story is I remember being at a park and I was watching this woman with her little girl, and her little girl was sucking on a lollipop. And they had a dog with them, and the little girl's giving the dog the lollipop. And the mother's like, oh my God, no, that's terrible for dogs. It's full of sugar and it'll rot his teeth. And like went on about how terrible this lollipop was for the dog, but did like completely miss the fact that it's terrible for her little girl as well. And I was just like, hello. I wanted to be like, but terrible for your dog, but okay for your kid. And not that I'm like, oh, you never should have sugar or anything like that. But I just thought it was so ironic that the woman was so concerned about what she gave her pet, but not so much about what she gave her kid. And it was just like, lady, hello. And I realized I need to be the same. I need to like make sure that if I wouldn't give my dog it, why would I give my kid it? The other one on boundaries is a book called The Boundary Boss by Terry Cole. She's a great psychotherapist. She's very active on social media, and I love her stuff. She's fantastic. She's very, very good. Well, I think we've blathered on long enough.
Cool. So look forward to solving the world's problems again soon.
Yes. And write to us if you just have a story to tell, a problem you need help with, and we'll talk about it for at least 40 minutes.
And we promise it'll be anonymous, right? So you can give us all the gory details. That's fine.
Exactly. And subscribe, send it to your friends, and give us a review, because that just helps other people find our podcast. So on that happy note, bye.
Bye.
Stay toxic. No. I love that saying. Stay toxic.
No, I hate it.
No. Be positive. Just kidding. I have a terrible dark sense of humor, obviously. All right. Bye.
Bye.